Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Chats with Dawn. Today, we will be talking about imposter syndrome, yay! Or maybe not so yay. Before I dive into all the details and what it is, how we fight it, I've been getting a lot of questions from people, through my Instagram DMs and when I would do those Q&As on Instagram stories. A lot of people have been asking, first of all, if I ever experienced the imposter syndrome, and also how I fought through those times and what are some ways to overcome it, or how do you deal with it. And I think maybe because lately, I've tried playing that game, what is it called? Among Us, where there's the imposters. Maybe because I've been playing that game and that word's being thrown around a lot more lately. Today I woke up and I was like, you know what? I think for the coffee chat today, it's gonna be about imposter syndrome. So the imposter syndrome, as a lot of people know, it is a syndrome where people feel basically they are an imposter. They feel like whatever place they are at life, maybe it has to do with your work or just a position you are in, you feel like you are undeserving of it deep down, and you feel like you got to that status or level in life by luck. I'm not really deserving of it, but I worked way harder than everyone else who is naturally gifted and talented, so I'm here, so I'm not really on the same level of talent. Or it's just I would call it an insecurity. It is something that is very, very, very widely experienced by a lot of people. The majority of people experience it at least once in their lifetime, because it's just such a common thing, and it's such a common feeling. And a lot of people might experience it once or twice and they might not really think about it too much, and so they might not even know that what they were experiencing or feeling was the imposter syndrome. But basically it's really common. A lot of people go through it. So when the feeling of the imposter syndrome rises, because it does rise for everyone, it rises a lot for me. I personally experienced it a lot when I was first starting out being a graphic designer. And by the way, I'm not even gonna lie, I still experience it to this day. It, to me, feels like a little bit of an ongoing battle, but I definitely don't experience it as much as I used to back when I first started being a full-time freelance graphic designer. After college, all my friends were going out and they're having these amazing jobs lined up for them after these interviews, and everyone's getting full-time job offers. I was the only one that didn't have a full-time job offer, first of all, lined up for me. And also I couldn't even decide if going for a full-time job was really what I wanted. So post-college, I was interning, I was freelancing a lot, and obviously much smaller gigs or whatever than now, but I was still freelancing, I was still hustling. And I think that's when I really started getting into the whole of the imposter syndrome and really feeling it, especially that time when I didn't have that many freelance gigs coming in. So it was more like I was part-time freelancing, and therefore, I had a lot of time to put together my online portfolio. When I was putting together my online portfolio, that's when you're being super critical of yourself and your work. And I started going through all my old works, the works that I created in college. I was just looking through all those works, and I don't know, I just felt like none of it was good. And I hated all my work. I hated all of what I had on my portfolio, and I was like, oh my God, do I need to throw everything away, and do I need to just design for nonstop for a whole year and then come up with a completely new portfolio? What do I need to do? I hate everything. I think that's really when I started to feel like I was a fake graphic designer or a fraud, because I needed a lot of inspiration then for, what is my portfolio supposed to look like? I would Google all these really amazing graphic designers, and I would also go onto Behance, and on Behance you can look at people's works, especially the really talented designers who have a lot of upvotes on their work. So I would go onto their portfolio pages and their websites, and I was blown away by how creative and talented all these people are and how amazing their websites were, and they had like the craziest user experience, and the work is so amazing and everything looks so cohesive, and they all looked like they had such distinct, unique styles. And then I would look at mine and go, what's wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with my work? And it kind of makes me emotional, like thinking about it and talking about it, because I remember like I had a lot of self-doubt and insecurity back then, and also I wasn't, putting myself out on social media, like on Instagram or anything like that back then. So I really didn't know anyone else who was trying to go the same path as I was, and I didn't know like how to deal with that feeling, like what is wrong with me? Why do I suck so much? I think definitely like that was going on for at least a good over like years, and I started getting bigger and bigger clients. They were happy with my work, and they would allow me to do like more long-term projects with them, or they would introduce me to other people. Now that I think about it, I think it was only because I was starting to like hear from my clients, and it felt like real results, real affirmation from people who were actually paying me and actually like wanting to give me credit for the work that I was doing. I think only then I started feeling like I was deserving of what I was doing, and I was deserving of the pay, I was deserving of the work I was putting out, and that's when I finally really started to believe in myself. Okay, so now that I'm on my 5th year of full-time freelancing, I finally feel a little bit better about myself. Like, I feel like, I've built something now because I worked hard and I grinded, and I tried to do things that maybe didn't come so easy in the beginning, but I feel like I kept doing it and I kept believing in myself, and eventually I feel a little bit more peace from within, because now I feel like I'm at a position where I've made some creative friends in the industry. I have, like a lot of freelancers, and like they don't even have to be, particularly like designers or anything like that. I have like photographer friends, I have web developer friends, like unique friends who are still doing the same thing in the sense of going down the same path. And through like meeting people like that and talking about our craft and relating to each other for like what we do, like I've come to the realization that I am deserving of what I have made for myself, and it makes me happier because I feel like I can finally celebrate a little bit. But just to let you know, like even doing like YouTube, right now, like I recently really started to take my YouTube channel really seriously, and I am investing a lot of time and effort and like everything into trying to make this channel my new passion. And I feel like an imposter sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I sit in front of the camera, it doesn't come super naturally to me. I think like I'm sure you guys have seen quotes like this on Instagram or Pinterest where they say like, the more you give life to a certain feeling or a certain negative emotion, the more you're magnifying it and the more you're giving life to it. For me, the key is to just swat that feeling away when that little negative feeling is like, hello, like here I am trying to be negative and ruin your day. Just fight it, swat it away, and tell yourself how amazing you are and how well you're doing, because I think at the end of the day, like it is a form of insecurity, and it is something that you are going to probably battle over and over throughout different stages in life. And like maybe now I don't feel it that much with the whole, being a graphic designer thing anymore. But now that I'm trying to do YouTube and do other things, like it's always coming out. The first tip that I want to talk about when fighting the imposter syndrome is you need to take a certain level of authority over your work and also credibility when you are talking to clients. The clients, they are hiring you because they want you to do the designs, and I'm sure they liked a certain aspect of your work. So automatically, if you think about it, you should have the authority. You should be the expert when you are having this conversation with your client. But something that I've also experienced, and I know from talking to other people that I know they also experience, is that they feel like the client is kind of talking down at them or telling them what to do. It's the whole like micromanaging thing where they want you to take creative control, but not really, because they're, giving you all these like really specific micromanaging instructions, and also not really wanting to let you explore with your creative ideas. They are too like, oh, we want the logo in the middle and this kind of illustration here, and it's like, I'm just the executor of your vision, but I'm not really getting the creative control. That often happens when the client doesn't feel like they can really trust you. And I would have to say that it's kind of an iffy situation, because from your perspective, you feel like they came to you because you are the expert, and they probably like something in your portfolio enough to, want to pay you or want to hire you. And so you should have that automatic credibility. And a little tip that I can give you to maybe win that control back, or win that respect and credibility back, is by educating them. When you do tell them that something is not going to look so good, you better be ready to also present another solution or another idea. They actually like your idea, your vision, and your suggestion more. That's when this level of respect and credibility and authority is established. That's how you know that you have won the client over, and that they are now like working with you as opposed to working against you, trying to test you. I'm only saying this because when you have clients who are talking down at you or talking to you like you are some kind of intern, or they just want you to execute it but they don't want to give you any kind of creative control, that kind of work environment and that kind of work relationship is really bad for your imposter syndrome. It's only gonna reaffirm in your mind that you're not really deserving of having a client and being a graphic designer, and you are not worthy of having a say or something when it comes to having creative control. A lot of the times, the clients just don't know better. And at the end of the day, that's why they hired you. That's why they brought you on board as part of their team, is because they need someone who has the eye when it comes to art, design, whatever, and they deep down need someone to guide them through the creative process. So you being able to step up and let them know, and educate them, and just being able to express that and back it up, I think really helps with not only your confidence, but also fighting the imposter syndrome. Another tip that I have when it comes to fighting the imposter syndrome is building a lot of experience. Taking on more and more projects helps you get into the mindset that you are a professional. You are a working professional. All these ideas and ideas of your self-worth and what you do, it's reaffirmed when you have a client and you have someone who is willing to pay you and willing to tell you, oh my God, this is what we wanted. Being able to hear that from your real clients and people really helps with fighting the imposter syndrome, because the more you do something, they always say, if you want something to become a habit, do it for how many days was it? 21 days or something, and then it becomes a habit. It's kind of like that. So you being able to take on more and more and more clients, it not only prepares you to just be more confident when it comes to talking to them and voicing your opinions, but it also, even with the design aspect too, the more you do something, the faster you get at doing things, the faster you get at putting together good work and good designs. And when you, as a freelancer, time is money and time is everything. When you are able to lessen your hours, but you're still getting the same wage or the same pay, that's when this confidence starts to build up. So don't be shy. I don't even mean you need to get all these badass clients or anything. Just doing more projects and doing more work for other people or with other people, that is going to accelerate the speed of you finding the imposter syndrome. You need to be able to believe in yourself, and believing in yourself is not easy. When you are feeling insecure and feeling low about yourself, you know, that sense of like self-hatred or despise, like all of that starts to build up and it creates a negative aura around you. But when you start believing in yourself, a lot of good things will happen. And I also want to highlight that if you think about it, like if you don't believe in yourself, how are other clients or other collaborators supposed to believe in you? But whatever it is, you have to just keep going through the motions and just keep telling yourself, no, I'm not an imposter. Like, I deserve to be here. And even if you might not feel that way deep down, you just have to keep convincing yourself. And it's like a magic spell that you have to cast on yourself. I used to, you know, like feel nervous and anxious whenever I would talk to potential clients. This is maybe like my first or second year into freelancing, when I wasn't super used to talking to clients, and I'm just a shy person actually. But I remember like literally like before I go on these calls, I would like close my eyes and go like, Dawn, you are amazing. You are a professional. You are such a talented designer. And I know this sounds really crazy, but I would literally do that before like a majority of my calls, especially the ones that I was feeling nervous or anxious for. But I think just being able to incept yourself into being confident, being someone who is an expert and is a professional, that really helps. I realized too that these people, when they're going on calls with me to discuss their potential projects, they're so nervous and they're so unsure about their creative vision that they want to work with someone who will for sure execute that for them, and they're willing to pay you. So it's almost like part of your job to be confident and to be sure that you will deliver and you will make sure that their brand is a success. I know it's really not easy. I don't know how many times I could say this, but I fight that feeling like a lot too. And I just wanted to get on here today and assure you guys, and I guess myself too, by opening up about this, that it is something that you can do. And I believe in you, I believe in myself, and I believe that you believe in yourself. And so I hope you can go out there today with a bit of a more confidence and feeling not like an imposter. But what's the opposite of an imposter? Are you just a poster? Right, so that's it for the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope the pep talk today helped you think a little bit more about really owning your craft and being the badass creative that you are. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and let me know in the comments if you have any other questions and what you thought of the video, and if you have any other suggestions for our future coffee chats. Bye!